So in this first sequence we're going to see the first part of the opening of the key method. Now a lot of critics of this particular method reckon it's a case of obscurum per obscura, making the obscure even more obscure by adding a lot of correspondences, a lot of particular methods that you have to learn, making a very complicated spread using a lot of cards. This was not how it was intended. It was intended to be used by the Adeptus Minor in the Golden Dawn, who by this particular stage of his spiritual development would have learnt all of the correspondences through the knowledge lectures, through ritual enactment, through contemplation, meditation, rising through the spheres, path working and guided visualization. So this method would have seemed quite straightforward because it actually involved all of the things that they already knew. For those coming to it who have not gone through a grade system of learning, then it's a little bit like being flung into a Japanese street and trying to speak Japanese without any grasp of the basic grammar. So what we're going to do is just learn the absolute basics required to perform this sequence of 5 spreads. So the first part of it is to lay out the situation as it first started. This is the sort of seeds of the matter. So we're first of all going to investigate where the situation has arisen from. To do this we use a spread, the first part of the opening of the key, the first of the 5 spreads, which are based around Yod, Hey, Vav, Hey, the 4 Hebrew letters that refer to the Tetragrammaton or Holy Name of God. So what we do is we first of all shuffle the cards. The Golden Dawn had an invocation, and you can use a variation of this. I sometimes say it out loud if I want to freak the client out, and sometimes I just do it inside my head. Sometimes that's even more spooky. I invoke thee, E-R-O, that thou wilt send Haru, the great angel that is set over the operations of this secret wisdom, to lay his hands invisibly upon these my consecrated cards of art, that thereby we may obtain true knowledge of hidden things to the glory of thine ineffable name. And I usually seal my cards with the sign of the rose cross, which is just a cross with a circle in the centre of it. That allows me to center myself and prepare for the reading. You would then give the cards the client to shuffle, as you would do usually. And then, once they've shuffled, you lay the cards out into 4 piles, of which there will be a diagram to accompany this video sequence. You first of all lay them out into 1 pile and split the cards roughly equally from left to right, leaving a gap in between them. You then take each of those 2 piles and you split them again, one from left to right and the other from left to right again. So this produces 4 piles. So you have 4 piles of cards face down in front of you. Now reading from right to left in the Hebrew manner, we have the 4 letters Yod, Hey, Vav, Hey. These are fire, water, air and earth. They represent the 4 elements as well, which will be explained in the handout to accompany this video. So we then turn each of the piles up so that we can see the base card of each one. Again, they'll follow an illustration, and the illustration will be in the handout as well. So what we can see here is we have the Ace of Pentacles, which is an earth sign. in the position of fire. We have the Seven of Pentacles, again another earth sign, in the position of water. We have the Five of Swords in the position of air, and we have the Five of Pentacles, another earth sign, in the position of earth. So already we could tell from this reading a number of things. That each of the, first of all, we have a preponderance of material cards. The Ace of Pentacles, the Seven of Pentacles, and the Five of Pentacles. I'd also say that we have an Ace, a Seven, a Five, and another Five. This shows that the situation as a whole is in a sort of halfway house position. We have a Five, and a Seven. However, in the first pile, the position of fire, then we have this Ace of Pentacles. It's almost as if this situation arose from a really burning need to establish a new situation, a new financial situation, a new career in this particular case. However, it seems to have got stuck fairly quickly. We have the Seven of Pentacles, which is in the position of water, so the emotional side of things. The person is feeling somewhat drained, somewhat disillusioned from the financial rewards. In the intellectual area, in air, we have the Five of Swords. This shows that they're almost ready to call it quits. They're almost ready to put their swords away. And then finally in the earth position, again this is borne out very well in this particular reading, we have the Five of Pentacles, which shows that they feel somewhat impoverished, that their income has been deferred. I often used to think that this was not just poverty, but this is a card of deferred income, the Five of Pentacles, because I often used to get it for students, for example, when I was doing readings at universities. So here we can see four piles that we have split up, and already we're getting into the basis of the reading. We can see where this situation has arisen from. It shows the four elements, the four aspects of a person's life, their four temperaments or humours, their ambition, their emotions, their thinking, their learning, and their sort of health and material well-being in those four piles, each representing the four elements. And we can see from the balance of cards whether they're weighted to a particular suit, whether they are weighted closer to the aces or further away, whether they're mainly major cards, whether they're perhaps minor cards, or perhaps even a whole series of court cards. From each of those we can tell particular things. Say for example, if it was majors, then this situation would be deemed to be entirely out of the person's hands, as if they were on a very fast river and they couldn't really paddle their own canoe. Whereas if they're mainly minors, as in this case, then it is still somewhat in the hands of the person to paddle. We're hopefully going to provide them some information as to where to paddle to and which currents to go with. And similarly, we're seeing in the balance of the suits, we have mainly we have three pentacle cards. If all of the cards are very different, this can either show a nice even spread, or it can show a lot of confusion, depending on the difference between the numbers in the balanced suits. So I hope from this we can already see that even from four cards, we're already starting to gain some inkling of how this situation has arisen. We then, having determined the significator, and this is one of the few cases when I actually do use a significator, we find which of the piles that the significator is in. So having chosen one of the 16 court cards for the person involved, and in this case it is the, say for example, we'll have the Page of Wands to signify the person asking the question.